A reading from the book of John. Jesus decided to go to Galilee. He found Philip and said to him, "Follow me." Now Philip was born in Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, "We have found him about whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote, Jesus, son of Joseph from Nazareth." Nathanael said to him, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Philip said to him, "Come and see." When Jesus saw Nathanael coming toward him, he said to him, "Here is truly an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." Nathanael asked him, "Where did you get to know me?" Jesus answered, "I saw you under the fig tree before Philip called you." Nathanael replied, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." Jesus answered, "Do you believe because I told you that I saw you under the fig tree? You will see greater things than these." And he said to him, "Very truly, I tell you, you will see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man." The word of God.
Thanks be to God.
Oh, be joyful in the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness and come before his presence with a song. Be sure that the Lord, he is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Oh, go your way into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and speak good of his name. For the Lord is gracious, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth from generation to generation. Glory
So my star that I got in the mail, the word is kindness. And when we were reading today's reading from the Old Testament, which is such a heartbreaking story of Samuel becoming the prophet of God and Eli having to acknowledge that not only was his time done, but his household was slated for destruction, that Eli was able to be kind to Samuel. Eli said, "You need to tell me what God said." And as Samuel hesitated, he said, "It's okay. You can tell me." And so he gave this little boy the strength to become the person he was meant to be by God. So I got a few messages in the mail about people's stars. One was from Joanne McCarthy, and this is what she wrote. "My word is self-control, and my first thought was, well, who knows that I've been finishing off these little Christmas chocolate kisses, even though I'm trying to lose weight. Yes, self-control is needed when trying to choose healthy food options over preferred sugary ones, but is needed more than ever in our reactions and actions toward people with whom we disagree. We need to stop, listen, and exercise self-control before we respond." So Mark Young wrote that his word was goodness. "What comes to me first, thinking about goodness, is virtue, moral rectitude. Kindness also comes to mind, but virtue is tops. Another aspect of goodness to me is grace. Goodness gracious," he says. Word association, I guess. A person who is good would embody grace, like an angel. And then finally this came from Susie Pepin. Jerry, and her word was also kindness. "Jerry and all the Pepin family have been buoyed up and strengthened by the warm and loving kindness shown to us by the Reverend and parishioners at Trinity Church, at the Trinity Church community. Love to you all, Susie and family." So, so today I'm going to ask each of you to speak. If you really don't want to speak, you just say pass and we'll go on to the next person. And one of the things we know about Zoom is that the order I see on my screen is not necessarily the order you're seeing. So I will call on you. So be ready with your star and be ready with something to say. So we'll start with Marion Craighill. You have to unmute, Marion.
I am unmuting.
Okay.
My star says peace, and I am so ready for peace. I'm really, really glad to see my star of epiphany with this word on it, because I need peace in my soul. I need peace in the world. Yeah, we need peace in our community. It's just the good Lord's peace it's definitely time for the peace of the world to come to us.
Jan Gabriel.
It is joy, and immediately I thought of an overflowing bag of used books that was left in front of the kiosk in the parking lot. And Bruce was about to take the books to be delivered to Savers. And the book on the top was the Book of Joy. It was 5 days that the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Tutu spent together worshiping and meditating and thinking about joy. And whenever I get a new book, the first thing I do is read the preface and the table of contents and the last chapter. And in the table of contents, the 8 pillars of joy that both the Dalai Lama and Bishop Tutu listed were perspective, humility, humor, acceptance, forgiveness, gratitude, compassion, and generosity, the 8 pillars of joy. And sometimes joy is a decision. And when Nancy used to invite me into the Sunday school with my guitar, one of the songs that all of the kids wanted to do because it sounded juicy was, I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. And I've been singing that all week. Joy.
Okay. Joan, Lund.
My word is self-control. And what really struck me was the incredible amount of self-control all of us have been struggling to develop since the beginning of this COVID situation. The control of not seeing family and friends, not coming to church on Sunday, of not going into the store unless we absolutely had to. And I think self-control has been something we have all had to really work to develop in some ways more than others. But I think we've all done a great deal to develop our self-control in the past 10, 12 months.
Okay. Lynn Annan.
Actually, I didn't get a star.
Oh,
No, but that's okay. I get to pick my own word, and it's journey. And Kurt and I had planned a lot of journeys for this year because it's our first year of retirement, and we didn't, of course, get to go on any of them. But we did go on journeys, just discussing the future journeys that we're going to do. And in our reading, we've been reading way more than we ever did. And also in our Zoom visits, which I really appreciate, to our families and our friends, and our Zoom visit, my Zoom visit to church every Sunday. So there's a lot of different ways to do journeys.
Also have
Joan
joy.
Campbell.
Denise and I have the same star, obviously. So first, when I saw the star, Denise and I were talking about, I'm like, I'm not feeling a lot of joy right now. You know, I'm having a lot of anxiety about work and pandemic and insurrection and various things. And then I thought more about it, and I thought, well, I have Denise, and we have beautiful walks in the woods, and this amazing nature around us, and we have our new friends with Lance and Jane, and all these things bring me joy. So we just have to keep finding the things amid all the chaos that are life-giving and focus on those.
My star was self-control. And one of the curious things I did after I got this star was I wanted to go back and look at my little report cards. I save everything, by the way. So I went back and looked in my report cards, even from the first grade. One of the things I was graded on was self-control. And I thought, wow, I don't think they would allow that in schools today, but it was all kinds of orderliness and caring for other people. But self-control was, I think, at the very top. And I guess we can equate that somehow to what happened in Washington last week, which was a lack of self-control, understanding that there are consequences. And I think what I'm left with to say is that self-control grows as we learn there are consequences for everything we say and do.
Indra.
I just have a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend.
Georgie.
Good morning. Like your first person you read, when I got this self-control star, I thought, oh dear Lord, I do baking therapy during this whole COVID thing. And I unfortunately eat it. So I don't have the COVID-15, I have the COVID-20. My second thoughts on self-control when I was thinking about it last night is how much I tell my patients and my staff and myself, because of the anxiety and panic that are in the students as well as the staff, you need to take control of the things you can control, and you need to let go of the things that you cannot control, and try to make yourself feel a little bit better because you do feel like you have some control. On the global issue, I look around and think we're in big trouble because a lot of people do not practice self-control. I see it in the high schools before we went out with COVID, with kids that, hey, let's get a knife and stab you because I don't like you, or girls who scratch the face of somebody else because they diss their boyfriend. And then I read what happened in Boston on Newbury Street during the protests and what happened in Washington. And I think, what about self-control? Do people not believe that they have an obligation to practice that? And how can you make them visualize that maybe they should be incorporating it into their practice? So those are my three areas of thought of what happened. But the first one was the food, the minute I got that.
Well, it's interesting to think about how they're all related. Deacon Barb.
I'm so impressed with what everybody is saying. Rebecca, I think you have a bunch of preachers in our
I think
parish.
so.
Yeah. My word is gentleness. And I've just been thinking about this word all week, you know, from different points of view, thinking about the people in my life that exhibit or are gentle people. But really what struck me was an image, a picture of gentleness. And it has warmed my heart when I really settled on it. And what it is several weeks ago, Marilyn Burnett told us about her granddaughter, Molly, who was in the hospital waiting for the birth of her child. And then last week, she told us that little Emmett Mark had been born. So Marilyn and I emailed and texted each other, and I said, I'd love to see pictures. So she sent me a video of baby Emmett resting on his mother's chest, and he was waking up and stretching his arms. And the first movement was he was like throwing a kiss. And the mom was just speaking to him so gently, you know, encouraging him he could go to sleep and how happy she was. And this has just warmed my heart all week. And I think if there is more gentleness in the world, what a better world we would be.